Here we go. So now YouTube will start up. Need to go to the chat program. That'll coordinate all of our on-screen chats. Wait until YouTube pops up. I just took my Ozempic. I'm a little late in taking it, and so my stomach is like weird. Autofill and activate. There we go. This one is 8 EAD. So that's this one. So this one I can get rid of. There we go. Cool, now we're all good. Everybody's up on screen. All right, here's our schematic. And then I need to start up platformio again. Oh, it's VS Visual Studio Code. I don't know how all this Windows coding stuff works. It's like totally new to me. How do I zoom in on you? No, that's not what I want. There's going to be, it's a programming program, so there's going to be 10,000 options in this. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. I can't just like control scroll. No, it doesn't work. Appearance. Zoom in. This is an awkward way to do it. Oh, it's Control Plus. Okay, are we... there's so many updates going on. There we go, that's better. Better for streaming, where everything is smashed up against itself because all the font sizes have gone enormous. This is better for streaming, believe me. How we doing? My Twitch is like completely dead today. Usually there's a couple people, you know, kicking around on Saturday morning, but it seems to be a pretty slow day out there. I don't see a lot of people doing the thing. I'm wondering if the afternoon crew is gonna like have everybody streaming, because I guess a lot of people were on Friday night, so they're just deciding to take the day off. I don't know if anybody else's Twitches are kind of slow right now. Mine is. Oh, and so is our viewership. Oh, don't look at that number. Ooh. I had an uneventful day yesterday, but I had to take care of a bunch of stuff, and I didn't end up getting to work on this stuff at all. So what I'd like to do today is going to just be more struggling with platformio. It's just me and the dog in the house right now. I am chock full of Ozempic, and I don't feel like eating anything, so we're going to program. And hopefully I get through some of this stuff. The features that I want to build in are kind of crucial for this dog collar. WLED does not need to constantly be connected to the internet. I know it wants to publish stuff to like MQTT, and it wants to be like do stuff with HTTP and all that. It doesn't have to. And so I'm wondering if I can get it to turn off the Wi-Fi stuff with the ESP32. Because if we can turn off the Wi-Fi stuff, it can save a little bit of current. Currently, we're running 140 milliamps, which is half as much as we're putting into the LEDs, which is crazy. I mean, the LEDs in WLED are like the star of the show. I guess typically what they expect you to be building is something that is like a permanent installation. It'll be something where you plug it into the wall and then it can do all of its wasteful Wi-Fi stuff while running the LEDs. But I want those presets because they are a shortcut to having really good looking LEDs and some of the other little WLED functions that make life simple, so I don't have to jump into hardcore microcontroller coding in order to build up this dog collar. It is taking just as long as if I put in like fast LED library and just programmed it myself. But these presets are kind of neat, and you can do some interesting things with presets. So, and then also in addition to that, I guess, no, that's the only feature. If I decide to incorporate the accelerometer at some point, I could probably visit the accelerometer code, but, you know, I basically need a battery life variable that I can use to display how much battery life there's, 0 to 100. I can display the percent of battery life. And I'm not totally sure how to do that. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. I just don't know. So there's going to be a little bit of a struggle here. Gitpod.yaml. IML. I haven't seen that lately. We're going to have to load up. Yeah, let's download the latest WLED. Nightly release. Let's just see what we have here. Why do you have to ask me this every single time? Night release, it's 2025, 10/25. Oh, it's today. I think this safe mode is what we ran into. Oh my god, is this a Sweet Sensation remix? What the heck? What? What do you mean there isn't anything to compare? Oh, changelog. Unreleased. Let us... Where's the download button? Whoa. That's the release, 0.15, but there's no deep sleep in that one. So we need to get this one. And I need to get source code zip. There you go. Okay, so that'll be what we're working with. I hope we can get somewhere with this. I haven't even compiled yet, though. I don't know what I'm doing with all this stuff. And I guess this is the way the big boys do all of their microcontroller coding, is with something like platformio, and you integrate it into GitHub, and then everything kind of lets you just get it all out of the way to write code, and then everything backs up and all that stuff. It is the right way to do things, but we're not used to the right way to do things. I need to move the fan. I'm starting to overheat. Just don't do it when you want to go through it. Boom, boom. All right. Yeah, we're gonna try to figure this stuff out. I'm not great with platformio. I haven't used it before. This would be my second time messing with platformio. Trying to have just like a hangout session with you guys, but I literally did not do anything yesterday. This is like nothing to report. I did a bunch of dog walking, basically, was my day. Which was great because it's an absolutely beautiful time of year right now in Pennsylvania. It is nice and cool finally. I can actually think. I'm not constantly sweating my butt out. And then, yeah, it's just the leaves are starting to come down. Dogs are happy to be outside and they're playing. It's fun time. But I didn't work on anything. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. I did shopping. That's what I did. Did a bunch of grocery shopping yesterday. That was the crowning achievement. What's this? Not a bag of Milky Ways saying, "Hey, buddy, long time no see. Hey, good to hear about you again." Yeah, not a bag of Milky Ways. Subbing for 32 months. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, people come and go, but I'm not like your normal streamers who barely know who's watching. I know the names. I know all your names. I remember. Good to see you. Hope you've been prolific, which is a weird thing to say to somebody. Oh, I just noticed that this battery is not on the charger. This thing has been awesome. This little auto screwdriver that Mahalo sent in. Very useful. When I get back to the synthesizer stuff, this will probably be pretty useful in getting all the synth panels off. I need to get back to the synthesizer stuff. I think there's one or two modules that I need to make sure that all my soldering is good on, because I built those mutable instruments modules, and those were built like actual products. Hold on. Those were built like actual products. Caffeinated soda is not really a good idea while streaming. One day I'll learn. The mutable instruments modules were built like consumer products, and so they're using the smallest electronics with the minimal amount of solder pad. And so I built them up, and I didn't use like hot air reflow or anything like that. And on some of the modules, the marbles that I got fully working, which took me several passes to get it working again, to get it working fully. Sometimes there will be pins that look like they are soldered to pads, but they're not. And this is on a scale where everything is the right shape. You know, we haven't gotten into the scale where things like are different shapes. Like you get things that look like an integrated circuit, but the pin pitch is much shorter. But at the scale that it is, it looks like its larger counterpart. You know, when you boil it all down, all of these chips are just packaging that sits around a piece of silicon. And the piece of silicon is tiny. We are really good at etching stuff. We are good at transferring photos onto things and etching things with it. And so those little etched silicon chips are absolutely microscopic, and they're surrounded by all this epoxy and metal. But when you scale it, it's like almost like they just took like a scaling tool in Photoshop and just made it smaller. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to solder these things through the microscope, and things look about the same on my screen, but when I move my hand, it moves twice the distance. And so it feels like I'm completely uncoordinated when I'm trying to position all of these things and solder all these things. And then I'm looking at them on the screen over here on the microscope, and they look like they're totally fine. Everything looks completely normal, but it is so much smaller. And so you feel clumsy. I got these things together and they look like they work, and then it turns out that all kinds of pins were not quite soldered properly. How does the fart work now? Do I need to select the level? No, it's just the number. And if you put a 0 or any character other than a number, it'll choose a random one. We got that running with Node Red. That's sort of the change that Milky Way sees. Do I have a Node Red window open? I don't think I do. I don't have a Node Red open right now. So what happens is Node Red. What happens is on my file server, there's the instance, the virtual machine of Node Red. Node Red has the event sub flow installed. There it is. There's one. The event sub flow makes the return from event sub into a Java thing. It's JSON. It's just the JSON return turns into a field on the return from this node. So this node goes out to a distribution where it connects to all this stuff. And all this stuff for all the various things that can happen here. And we can modify them as I build stuff to sort of fill out all of those streaming things. So if we get a chat message, the chat message flow, this thing basically just says the name, the property name, the payload.event type is chat message. And if it is, it goes through here. If it's a RAID, it goes through here. If it's sub or gift, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we get a sub or gift sub, well, if we get a point redeem, and that point redeem payload.reward name is fart, then we send the message payload, we set the message payload to be to the value message payload reward message. So we take whatever the message is that you put in there, we take it and we make it the top of the flow. We basically make it into the entire payload of that message. We're overwriting the event sub return at this point. Once we've overwritten the event sub return, we put it into a switch, and if it is between 0 and 9, it will go to the fart box. It basically replaces, name property is between 0 and 9. Otherwise, we send it to the second flow, and the second flow turns it into a 0. So 0 through 9 is then sent to the fart box. And if it's a 0, the fart box chooses a random fart. But if it's 1 through 9, it chooses one of the 9 fart noises. And fart box just simply gets that payload. And I went into the code of the ESP8266 that powers the fart box, and I just basically made it work with MQTT messages, or whatever this is. I don't know if this is MQTT. Yeah, servers serve too, yeah. So it just deals with MQTT, and it just gets sent a message and it says, okay, I'll do my thing. The part of the code that survived was the part where I actually had to sit here and set off fart noises and time them and give them a millisecond value so that we wouldn't overpress the button on the fart box. So there's a little message queue, and whenever one of the farts finishes, we move the queue over and put a 0 in the last value until the message queue becomes all zeros. And then there's a fart number that gets set off. That fart number corresponds to a location on a table and a pinout pin. So the ESP8266 is about 9 pins that you can use, and we used all of them. So they set off the random fart, and then they wait, and then they move the table over. Frames lower is my shit PC. Let's see, drop frame 0. So I think it's a PC. It could be any number of things. It could be anything, even one of us. Who said that? Music has a talking part. Jeez. Ba-ba. They keep updating these browsers, and the Twitch player works worse and worse. Yeah. Well, YouTube pushed their little happy little soft update. They're all following the AOL model, where everything gets just a little bit more 3D and soft and rounded. There's just a little bit more design for the sake of design going into all these things. It's all catering to mobile is what's happening. But yeah, those of us with slightly older computers we're gonna get left in the dust, and I hate it. I hate it here. One of these days we're gonna get back to this thing, and I'll be able to put lights in it like all those Japanese Twitter posts. There's always something really cool. They're always doing something like awesome, like doing a K truck and putting all these lights in it. So cool. So jealous of them. I want to put lights in this thing. Reprint this body and put lights all over it, and then paint the parts of the paint that are opaque so that the windows are still translucent. It would be really cool to do. But then in the end, what would I have? I would have a little model car and slightly more 3D modeling and printing skills, which is totally worth it. So I don't know why I'm thinking about this way. I had a dream early in this week that I almost got run over by one of those Lancias pulling into my neighborhood as a Group B speed. Oh, you got to be like the rip-roaring crowd that I just broke the mirror. Oh well, just make it even. There we go. No more mirrors. Those mirrors lasted way longer than they had any right to. Group B is so stressful. It's so stressful to watch. They would find fingers in the grill of the cars in Group B. I know, it's sad that the mirrors are gone. They lasted so long, but whatever. Whatever, I'm just going to print another one. These bodies are sacrificial. They're sacrilegious. They're supposed to be destroyed. He'll go, oh no, you broke your RC car body. And I go, yeah, that was its purpose. It did great. Used to be able to do 720p and 60 FPS. Now it doesn't work at 360. Ugh. That amount of P is very frustrating because you can't like see text on screen and things are just relatively fuzzy. How did we tolerate 720p back in the day? Even not back in the day. How do we tolerate that? It's like everything's so fuzzy. I have a rip of Deep Space Nine that is just bad. It's notoriously bad. It is very 90s. Everything looks like they smeared a bunch of Vaseline on the camera lens. Apparently there are AI upscales of it that are pretty good though. So I should look into some of those. Completely fine with 720. I don't know. I mean, this broadcast is in like 920 because of the chat window smallinating the screen. That was something that Lawrence mentioned a long time ago. He's like, I'm just gonna stream in 920p because the chat window on the side makes the video window smaller, which is all well and good for the people watching on like their computer, but Twitch broadcasts to a lot of stuff. You get a lot of varied viewership. There are people who watch my streams on their phone. I don't know why you would do that, but people do that. So I can't imagine life where instead of computers, I just have a phone. I guess you could do some microcontroller stuff on the phone. I think you can actually program an Arduino from the phone, but typing out software would be crazy. Twitch broke their app. Last I checked, said it was an unsupported browser. Weird. Some of us are wages and like to sit and lurk. It's true. Yeah, I guess lurking on the phone at work is totally. Look, I can't fault anybody for that. That's for sure. I'm just happy you're here. Just a crazy way of watching. My hair is in the way. What? I gotta see how many like tablets or televisions. Sometimes people put the stream on a TV. I have done that before, putting the stream on the Fire Stick on the TV. It's weird to do because there's so much lag in the stream that whenever I say something, I'm like a year behind of what's actually going on. Yeah, Twitch's own app says wrong browser. What in the Chromium is that? That's crazy. So yeah, everything in here now works on Node-RED. So at some point, I can build in additional functionality, and I've done that with some of the chat messages. We even know a way to check to see whether or not stuff is on in OBS. Pretty cool. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming for today. It might be a short one, I'm not sure, but I would like to make some progress with platformio, so this is going to be a bit of a struggle. I know people in their 20s that only own a smartphone, no laptop, no PC, nothing. What's wrong with them? How do they make like big purchases in their lives? I guess our generation aren't making big purchases. That is a dancing. Ooh, it's like one of those Tumblr GIFs where it's like real short. Those exist. I believe those exist. You can buy keyboards for your smartphone and stuff. Like if you buy a Bluetooth mouse, you can just tell your phone to listen to the Bluetooth mouse, and you'll have a mouse on the phone. I believe. Might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. A friend of mine he wanted to like make a cyber deck out of his phone. He wanted to show up at the cafe and have a cyber deck. Yeah, well, that's where Raspberry Pi came about. Raspberry Pi, like 10, 15 years ago, said, hey, there's a lot of these cool chips that power phones. Why don't we make like a platform for that? And so, the Raspberry Pi, the 3B Plus that I'm holding in my hand right now, can be a Linux laptop. You can just install Linux onto it. And that's essentially the same thing that the phones are. Same processors that phones use. What's up, Actron? Good to see everything working. The chat messages are coming through. And so the Raspberry Pi 5 has two HDMI outputs for two monitors. And you could buy one that's embedded into a keyboard. So just in the same vein, you can just attach, I could attach a USB hub to the USB-C slot, and then I could put memory cards and use a keyboard and use a mouse, and then, I don't know, Google products or whatever, and I could write an essay. And who needs computers? We're all, everything's computer. I bet that's more powerful than my bedroom PC. I mean, can your bedroom PC be my pancreas? No. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. This is a Pixel 6 or something, I think. I don't know what the specifications are on the Pixel 6. Full phone specifications, let's see. Oh my God, really? 2021? I should probably get a new phone. AMOLED, 6 inches, Android 12 upgradable to 15, octa-core, 2 by 2.8 gigahertz Cortex X1, and 2 by 2.5 gigahertz Cortex A76. 1.0 gigahertz Cortex AS5. I don't know which one I got. I don't know which one it is. Oh, I see. There's 8 of them. So something around 1.8 or 2.8 or 1.8 or 2.5 gigahertz. So we're a little bit after the Celeron, I believe, is about where our computing power is in my phone. I think your desktop is probably a little faster than my phone. Sound, yes. I don't enjoy the direction that Chrome is taking, or that Google is taking with their Chrome and with their Pixel phones and stuff like that. I don't know. I could probably install something else on my phone that would get me there. But it's like any of the modern phones that I'm looking at would probably be AI this and AI that, right? You have more RAM. This thing is only running on 6. Wow. I've got 3.33. I think 3.3, wasn't that like the heyday of Celerons or something? That's getting more up to modern speeds, I guess. We got Tribe on this mix. Bop, 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 bop. Nana, 9 core, 3 gigahertz, 42.4, 42.15. It's like so many processors. Google Tensor. Core 2 Duo. Yeah, there you go. Everything has been downhill since. And yeah, it's the actual thing. There's actually a processor in there. I keep that on a shelf. I like my Pentium too. Back when, I don't know. Actually, I was using AOL around that era of the Pentiums. Pentiums were crazy, though, because it sat at a right angle to the board, and it was its own circuit board with a processor on it. And so the super hyper overclocking people had this wonderful way to surround the processor with insulation, so they could do things like dump liquid nitrogen directly on it and cool it. It was crazy. It was crazy times. Because of speed, because you don't want to, just all the bends and the distances had to be completely optimized, and so putting it flat down on the board was the way to go. I guess it's time to figure out where to put the Robboz box in my bedroom. I don't do gaming anymore, but I have it hooked up to the racing rig. Yeah, I've been debating whether or not I want to build like a whole rig. For a little while, my brother had some BMW like sports seats from a more modern BMW. He found like a screaming hot deal on one, and he bought it, and he decided to actually drive a BMW, which is not typically what he would be doing. He would be being as much of a pretend redneck as possible, and either buying a big truck or something weird, or a Volvo, because we were always a Volvo family. He's a big Volvo fan, but he decided to get a BMW, and he said the seats just were not comfortable. He has a long commute because he lives in Maryland, and apparently everybody in Maryland has a 90-minute plus commute. He lives in Maryland, which means he lives way out, far away from where he works, because everybody commutes all the damn time in that state, and they decide that they want to get a job that pays well, but they also want to live out in the sticks, and pretend to be a redneck. It's all about pretending to be a redneck. So anyway, he's got this incredibly long commute. I also think Volvo makes the best cars. I haven't caught up. I saw one of my neighbors has like an electric Volvo that looks kind of cool. I should probably go to the showroom, which is nearby, and just test drive something, because I don't know the state of Volvo these days. My brother and I are classic Volvo people. I had a 164, which nobody knows what the hell that thing is, and he has a P1800 ES. But anyway, so he bought this BMW, and the seats were not comfortable, so he changed the seats around to other BMW seats. So if he has those seats still, or if he's struggling to sell them, I would more than gladly take them off of his hands. because with the amount of 80/20 rail that I have, 20/20 rail that I have, I had a big keyboard shelf, which is 2 long pieces and 2 short pieces that I made into a square, and that would be the perfect base for a sim pit. So if I could mount the seat to that, bolster it up, make it survive my weight, so I don't bend these poor frame rails, and turn that into a frame, I could then attach the steering wheel project to that, and it would get a more permanent home. It would mean I'm building this big, clunky, weighty thing, but then I would also be able to permanently attach the pedals where they're at a comfortable height so that my legs, I'm not... That's the thing with like these sport utility... You guys hear about these sport utility vehicles that they got now? You're sitting like fully upright in these things, and you're like... Your feet go down against the pedals, like instead of across. I'm used to across, so mostly I'm sitting in the seat and there's an ever slightly incline, but it makes the pushing position more natural for the foot. This is not a good analog for feet, but you can use your imagination. Use your imagination, go on my Only Feet website. I think I'm lucky enough to not have one. I don't think I have an Only Feet. Anyway, so the positioning and the pushing feels a little bit more natural. When I, for instance, like park my mother's car, I am noticing that I'm pushing down against the pedals a lot more. You're kind of going down and across. Yeah, bus driver position. It just feels weird, doesn't it? But anyway, what I want to do is if I can eventually build the sim pit rig, I could use the handheld PC maybe. Well, no, I think it has to be Windows because of the applications that tune the wheel. But I could remote into the gaming PC that way. There'd be a little imperceptible lag on a LAN, but if I were traveling, which I wouldn't be because it's just sitting over there. I don't know if that would be viable for making a sim pit. Mostly what a sim pit does is collect dust. But that also means that if I had the sim pit, that means I could put the parking brake in it. And I've had the parking brake hardware sitting on the wall for ages and ages. There's the parking brake that I bought. It was a cheap eBay bunch of aluminum. And there's the X65. But anyway, cheapo piece of aluminum that I've wanted to get into the rig. Thoughts on ginger beer? I really wish that I could brew it myself. I looked at all the kits for ginger beer. And ginger beer and root beer, I was like, man, I really want to brew this stuff myself. And it appears they only sell, like, you buy the kit and it's like, just add water to this thing that we give you. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to actually brew the damn stuff. So I haven't really been able to experiment with that. I wanted to make my own diet ginger beer. Off to bowling. Have fun bowling, yeah. Yeah, so as I want to make it for myself. If I'm buying stuff like that, I love buying like the strongest possible brand, the stuff that really just like kicks you when you drink it, because I'll be mixing it with alcohol. This is non-negotiable. I've got ginger and I've got champagne yeast. I don't know how that works. Wait. I don't think that's how that works. Not that I know enough to really say anything. Champagne yeast is one way to remove all of the carbs in it. Twitch viewers, you'll notice that there's music. YouTube and VOD users, you will notice that I'm wiggling to nothing. Oh, you gotta add water. That's a good point. I don't know what I'm doing today. We should probably get started. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stream for before my brain literally leaks out of my ears. But I would like to actually like do stuff today. It seems to be a pretty quiet day on Twitch, at least for me. For the people I follow, nobody's around. Get rid of that. All right. So what are we doing today? Hi, welcome to Never Ending Hell. I will never escape this place. I am trying to program WLED. I need to do it myself instead of using one of the auto compilers because we got some special features that we really want to incorporate into this thing. One of the features is not blowing up my dog in fire by drawing too much current from the microcontroller. We are experts in doing microcontroller things around here, but we're making an appliance that is going to run off of a pithy 250 milliamp battery. WLED does not fashion itself as a light consumer of current. In fact, it is as close to rolling coal is equivalent from automotive to microcontrollers as you can get. WLED runs wirelessly. That's the only wireless that you can get. You need the wire going to the power. You definitely need that wire. This does not go without that wire. This is my pyramid. Yes, I must stack these bricks. Also, you need a haircut. Yeah, I guess we're getting back to haircut territory, aren't we? I feel like I just got one. That's because I let it go for a long time. I was more concerned about my luxury mouth bones being okay. And now that they are, I can spend time thinking about other things like the luxury hair bones on top of my head. We're back in programming microcontrollers. We want to initiate, we want to enable some of these low power features that things like the ESP32C3 can implement. Now I have the ESP32C6s coming in the mail. I don't know if I'll want to switch over to those or not. But we need to get this project done. This should be pretty trivial. I have just never used platformio. WLED exists in platformio. Platformio is, of course, a more extensive IDE. It's Visual Studio Code that's able to do microcontrollers, and I'm learning it. I'm learning that it is probably about as straightforward as Arduino is. The thing is, I'm used to Arduino and I like it because it wraps everything behind sort of a processing wrapper. So all of the little weirdo things that you do with microcontrollers aren't as up in your face as they are in platformio. Arduino's original IDE, you basically just choose your chip, make sure the COM port's connected, and you're good to go. They've added tabs to it at some point, and those tabs, you can reference stuff in other tabs. But platformio is working much in the same way as a large multi-platform microcontroller project is supposed to work. You have an initialization file, and you tell the initialization file all the different stuff that you want. You select whichever piece of the initialization file you want the code to follow, and it draws from all of these different pieces of code in order to make the final Arduino hex file or the final, not Arduino, but the final hex file that goes into your microcontroller. So presumably along the way, that INI file has all the different specifications that need to be set in your microcontroller, and it's able to do its job, right? So that's sort of what we're up against here, and what I'm trying to do right now is put together, well, what we did last time is we put together that INI file with some extra special sauce in there. We had a little bit of extra special sauce so that we could run some what are called user mods. User mods allow you to do alternative stuff with your setup without burdening the overall WLED code. They worry about that, you worry about your user mod, and then me going, I want that feature. I put the two together. Excuse me. Trim the mustache too. Yeah, you don't want to be. My soup sensor is a little bit too accurate at this point. What are we saying? What are we saying? Have you ever tried having long, flowy hair? Feels like you have the right kind of hair for it. At a certain point, my hair starts to just hurt because I start overproducing oil and sweating into it by the end of the day. And it then dries, and it just, I don't know, it hurts. I think just because of the weight of it. I have very, very soft, very thick hair, but my scalp does not like it to get too long. We're probably at the limits of where I should be getting a haircut because I'm starting to mullet in the back. So, oh no, I don't know if I want to look at this. Am I gonna see things that I regret? Yeah, I'm seeing things that I regret. There's a man somewhere in that tuft of hair. Anyway, Tim's just sent the I just woke upest looking photo I've ever seen. So anyway, we're trying to look up the specs of the Pixel. No, we're trying to get WLED, this project that makes these wonderful dancing lights out of our LED strips and ESP32s. We're trying to make that run a little bit more efficiently because we've got a 250 milliamp hour battery. And what that means is that the battery company lied. They always lie. They always put their specs a little bit high. 250 milliamp hours, breaking it down, looking at this thing running, we need 140 milliamps to run. So 140, 250, not even 2 hours. 280 milliamps hours would be needed to run for that. So we're not quite even at 2 hours without LEDs. Adding on the LEDs, I have managed to current limit them somehow. My MOSFET circuit somehow current limited them. I don't really understand that very much, but it limits them to, well, overall microcontroller operation, overall draw for the battery can be 300 milliamps. Somehow, I don't know how I managed that, but 300 milliamps, that means that we are drawing, what, 160 milliamps for our LEDs. I really want to knock that down, and the way to knock that down is to get this thing to get off of Wi-Fi. It needs to turn off Wi-Fi. It's all we got. So we need to look at the ESP32C3 and see how it goes into a particular sleep mode and hope that the one chatter was wrong. The chatter from like 2 or 3 days ago that told me that it wouldn't run because it has to do a bunch of HTML stuff, and then the microcontroller will fail at this and stop. That seems to be the behavior that we saw out of this thing. But if we can get it to turn off Wi-Fi and not do that, then we'll get a little bit more battery operation out of this whole thing, right? It's Halloween time, so looking scary is looking cool. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. That is true. So like what I did was, following some of the discussion around WLED, I took out the SSID and password of my wireless network, and I put this into a mode that says, do not look for an AP. When it looks for an AP, it turns on the Wi-Fi and it looks for your phone to connect directly to it, and then it gives you that wonderful WLED interface, right? Are you aiming to make a shock collar? No, I'm not an idiot. I don't want to shock my poor corgi. I know the ESP was born for Wi-Fi, but look, it was born for Wi-Fi. It's got it built in, and it's one of the primary things. What I want to do is be able to hold down that button for the 6 seconds and let go of it. When you hold down this button for 6 seconds, it goes into a connect to AP mode. So it'll turn back on. I want it to be able to turn back on the Wi-Fi and then look to connect to AP so that I can do things like, you know, mess around with the presets and stuff on my phone. And then normal operation, hit the button once, it turns on from a deep sleep, it'll just operate without Wi-Fi. And that'll give us just that little bit more, that little tiny bit more of life out of our product. But the problem is I don't really know what I'm doing, and I only barely set up platformio with the help of chat. So what I need to do is open up a new, how do I put this away? How do I put you away? I don't know how to run platformio. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is a file explorer. Let's see. I need to learn how to do, yeah, that's the terminal and stuff. Those are the problems with the software. Platformio home, manage, there'll be settings and accounts. There's platformio, the plugin, source control. The folder currently open doesn't have a Git repository. Yeah, I don't have I have a folder open. I decided to do this by opening it as a folder instead of running it from GitHub. I guess I could do it from GitHub, and these programs will automate all of my GitHub uploading and stuff like that. But once you develop this collar, when we'll be able to buy it, I don't know. This is because the thing is, this is running on a bunch of open source stuff, and I mean, yeah, maybe I could sell it as a kit, but I don't think I'm going to be stumbling over myself to sell this. It's something that other people could put together if they want. Nice product. It's not a product yet. Okay, so you know, I put all my initial settings for my hardware into the INI file, and apart from some debate about what the syntax is, because I don't understand how it knows. I guess it WLED_disable OTA. It'll just know that these are parts of like D client SSID, will go into that specific thing and replace a variable and be put into the code. That's my understanding of it. But what I need to do is this file right here, we need to move over to the nightly build, which I just downloaded. And so I need to load into platformio, I guess. I need to load in the newer code. How do I even close this stuff? Do I do it in, that's platformio, and that's what I opened in order to open the project, I believe. Oh, quick access. Open project. New project. Open project. These windows look like they are a little tight because they are. I've upped the font size to be absolutely gigantic so that you guys can actually read this without having to blow your eyeballs up. My soldering is about on par with my welding. I can do it, but it doesn't look pretty. Where's my pre-put together kit? That's the problem, is if I sell it as a pre-put together kit, it's like a product, and a product has like things that you have to do in order to keep people safe, I guess. And there's just things that I've got to follow in order to have sort of a product that I sell. So selling it as a kit means that I don't know what happened. You built the kit wrong. Where am I going? I'm going to, I believe, the desktop. Do I really have to navigate to it that way? I guess I do. Welcome to programming. Users. Bother. Desktop. There we go. Now we've got all my beautiful folders. This would be in underscore stream, not the shortcut. Stream project. I had to do this. I had to put a folder on the desktop to work out of because my server doesn't recognize this computer properly. Something about the WinShare, the WinSCP share is broken, and I don't know what. And it might just be that this thing was running the SMP share for so long that the credentials are like stuck. They're like stuck in the goo that makes up the operating system here. Dog collar, there we go. And then I guess I got to extract it, huh? Jerks. Wait, where is the nightly build? Is not in here. Oh, this is the folder. Oh, it's in downloads. What am I? Download ads. Cut. We need to use the nightly build because apparently the 15.1 does not have the low power stuff. I don't know how we were using it, using the configurator thing. Good old Windows SMB hell. I don't share all of the experience that you guys have. At least you're not using 11 yet. Out of my cold dead hands, Windows 11 Windows 11 can watch me switch to Linux finally. Which I'm very close to doing. It's just the Merc Wheel project. That Merc Wheel project, I swear, I think I might have to go open wheel with it. And when I go open wheel with it, that means that I unlock all the features that we spent so much time engineering around, like having the ability to send a serial signal into the steering wheel controller and have it interpret that with button presses and stuff. Like what we did on the Merc Wheel project, things got crazy. We faked being a Bluetooth low energy modem by we read the Bluetooth low energy standard, which is comprehensive. There's a lot of stuff in the Bluetooth low energy standard for like medical devices and all kinds of other stuff that you follow so that everybody is on the same page and nobody's like fighting for standards and implementation and stuff like that. It's all in that standard for Bluetooth low energy. And so what we did is we read it. We read that and we discovered what the signals were that the base station was sending to a Bluetooth low energy modem, and we did a man-in-the-middle attack. We took those signals, we interpreted them, we detected them and regurgitated them into the controller so that it thinks that it's connecting to a Bluetooth low energy device through a modem, and it has neither of those. So it has neither of those, and so our controller connects to the Bluetooth low energy, feeds it signals so that when we hit a button on the steering wheel, our controller gets the button press through the LIN bus. It's an automotive standard of communication that's sort of like the one-wire protocol. We had to reverse engineer the address of the wheel on that, so we're able to pull it. We get a signal back, and we go, that one's a 0's a 1, and so that's a button press. And so then it goes to the Bluetooth low energy modem, and it goes, oh, look, we got a signal back from the modem that we connected to. Here's the signal. And then the steering wheel goes, oh, they pushed a button on the wireless wheel, or the Granite Devices controller. Oh, they pushed a button on the wireless wheel. Let's send that through USB. That should not be so convoluted, but it is. The reason it's so convoluted is because Granite Devices did not produce an API. We don't know how to digitally communicate with the Granite Devices controller. Now, Granite Devices was just copying the Open Wheel project. They just put an STM32 microcontroller on there. And so I believe that the Open Wheel, well, Granite Devices has long since moved on from the hardware that I use. But so has the Open Wheel project. Well, actually, no, they haven't. Are they still using? They're probably using different microcontrollers now. But anyway, the Granite Devices control that I have basically is Open Wheel project. So we could probably load the Open Wheel project onto it and then have a much better time of doing everything, right? The military is moving to Linux? Huh. Can't wait until the contract for supplying computers with machines to the military. Well, yeah, machine shops are still using 3.5-inch floppies because that's what some of those old M code running machines use. And those things are built to be as bulletproof as possible. There's a whole industry for making a drive that uses, microcontrollers and stuff. I'm going to burp. That emulates a 3.5-inch floppy and instead just uses memory cards. All right, WLED Nightly. Let's open that up in Platformio. Oh, the military is moving to Windows 11. Ugh. Can I refresh this? I love how this window is so stifled in this little cancel. Open project. It did not update. Stream project, dog collar. It didn't update. It didn't. Did I do it in the right folder? Maybe I did it in the wrong folder. Stream project, dog collar, WLED Nightly. What are these tools that I'm using? Don't get me started about the machine shop's XP machine. Yeah, to run the CNC. If it ain't broke, can I refresh? Can I refresh? Do I have a... There we go. There it is. Okay. Nightly. You. Oh, it only lets me do folders. Okay. Oh my God. The interface is not made to be blown up as much as I have. Open WLED Nightly. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? Do you trust me? Do you trust me? Do you trust... I mean, no, but I'm going to say yes. It was the top left. It wasn't in the top right. What are you talking about? You're crazy. There's a dev container configuration available for this repository. Reopen the folder to develop in a container. No. No, I say. I say no to you, sir. Oh, don't show again would have been a good option. I don't know what I'm doing. Listen, this is like my third time maybe ever using this program. Bear with, be patient. Be patient. I'll eventually get there. I don't trust a bearded man wearing glasses that need a haircut. Because you see, if he needs a haircut, that means that he's untrustworthy. Oh my God. That was a very long note to have pop up for that short amount of time. It's like, allow me to give you the foreword of my novel as an error message. Your streamer is being completely propped up on caffeine right now. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to tolerate this. I'd like to be able to get to the point where we actually load code into the microcontroller. And I think we're close to being able to do that for the first time. Because we have redone the initialization file. And I'll have to copy over the initialization file that we made yesterday, and we'll see if we can get that to actually poop some code into our micro. But first, we needed to do all this crap. I don't even know. It's going to download like 1,000 things. I don't know why. You know, I guess if we were smart, we would be loading this through GitHub, and you know, my code edits wouldn't be that. It would be like a fork of the main branch of the nightly build. I don't know. But I want to, oh, there we go. Project has been updated. I want to get our little pithy updates into this thing, and we'll jump from there basically. So platformio override sample, and then that's not the one that I want to open. I want to actually, yeah, don't save that. So I'm gonna actually go into the folders for this. I'm not gonna do it within platformio, which is kind of wrong, but whatever. So our override is what we really want. So I'm gonna grab this file. I'll copy it. I'm not gonna cut. I'm not a monster. And we're putting that in here. And we will be changing the file name to overwrite the, well, actually there is no override right now. So we'll just get rid of the dog collar part of it. But right now I just want to open that up and refresh myself on what we've done, because I think that was ready to go. I think that was ready to be put into the code. So I'm going to, I guess I can get it through the file explorer, but I need to refresh it. Boink. Override dog collar. So what we've done here, let's, there we go. That's looking a little bit more simple. Just a little bit more simple. Where's the console view? I guess it did just went away. I probably have to click. Yeah, that's how we do the terminal. Okay. Can I put it away by pressing it again? No, I have to close it. Okay. This is confusing. Imagine using Git best practices. Yeah, I like being able to roll my code back when I inevitably ruin it all. I'm just basically saying I'm doing local modifications on my own version of their nightly build. This is like the worst practices you could possibly have. What are you coding? We are trying to get certain features out of our WLED microcontroller, and I am also going to try to get rid of or change some of the deep sleeping habits of it. Oh, what are we coding in? Objective-C, it's Arduino-ish kind of C. Right now we are doing INI stuff. It created a new terminal. It didn't open the other one. Oh. Well, now I got two terminals running. Oh God, not Copilot. What don't you know how to do? Every time I watch some new skill. I'm sitting here behind these cameras and I am completely at will to do the things that I'm good at. So that's why it looks like I've got all of these amazing skills. I'm looking at a platformio piece of software and it's not looking good. I kind of know my way around a little bit. But the bumpers in this game of bumper pool is chat. You guys are steering me in the right direction constantly, and without you, I would not be making the kind of progress that I do. Knowing sort of the basics of coding and stuff really does help you out. Knowing the basics of soldering, knowing the basics of putting together a circuit, at least digitally, helps you do all this stuff. Those are basically the big skills that we're using today. And I guess I'm smart. People keep saying I'm smart, and I guess I'm liable to believe them eventually. What do I have open right now? I have this, and this. Where is that terminal? How do I get to... Because if I click on open a terminal, now I've got like 3 open, right? This is some other bar. I think that's maybe I don't know, but what are all these? PowerShell, 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 command line environment. Click the terminal button on the right. There's a list of all the terminals you have open. Is that these? So there's multiple command line interfaces open that I don't need. There. And then PowerShell is this. Okay, so the override dog collar INI, I still have my doubts about the interface or the syntax here. You have a lot of technical know-how. I'm an engineer and I work with many every day, and I wish my team had you. Oh, it's good to hear if I ever want to go back into industry, right? This is kind of what I did professionally, was stumble around in, well, no, it's more like this is the stuff that I was doing on the side while my real job was still just as grueling engineering, but it was mostly like entering data into stuff. For a little while, the IED job was very unique in that it was very academic. We would get together with other engineers and we would sort of suss out how these things work and how we're going to write about them. And then you'd spend a lot of time writing, and then you'd spend even more time with your dipshit managers telling you that you missed the email. We're using and instead of the comma in this type of list. Very annoying. Okay, so this I barely understand what's going on here, but these are the things that tell it what code to put together in order to make a functional piece of microcontroller code, right? So this is essentially the framework of everything that's going together. So our platform is ESP32C3. Our other specific key platformy stuff is contained, I guess, within that. I don't know why it's .platform. I don't know what's going on. Package there. Board ESP32C3 dev kit 1. I don't think that matters too much. Same, my engineering job was 80% Excel based. Yeah, we were doing it all in Excel, and the problem was we were contractors for the FBI. The FBI has a certain thing that it does with databases, and that things have to exist in a certain form if they are to be referred to as a database. So our Excel spreadsheets were not a database, although we were, as is tradition with Excel, we were using Excel as something that it's not, which is a database software, which a lot of people do. A lot of use of Excel is sort of off book and improper record bookkeeping, database keeping. We eventually did move it to a proper database. I don't know whatever happened to all that data nowadays, but it was, for a while, we were kind of pretending that Excel was being Excel and not used for some other purpose. So many office scenarios where they're using Excel to do absolutely what is not meant to be doing. I live in Excel and I hate it. SolidWorks time is all that saves me from crashing out. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of engineering happens in Excel. That's why when the barber asks me what I do for a living, I say, oh, it's like electrical engineering. It's a lot of Excel. And then they do not ask any follow-up questions for that. Nobody wants to know more about Excel. Nobody. They will not ask you follow-ups. Wish the university told me about that. Yeah. So, presumably, I don't know what that means. Serial to USB chip, Arduino, USB CDC on boot. These are just the built-in flags that it has. So it's got build flags here. And then we're adding to it all of these extra specific feature disable. I kept 2D because 2D is how we do LEDs that are next to each other. So we're going to keep that piece of code in here. I gave it a value, client SSID, client pass. I give it its pixel count. I give it the data pin, button pin, the relay pin, which is turning on and off the FET. Relay mode is supposedly equal to 1. I don't really know what that means. I think we can invert the relay. We need this to be active high, which is why I had to go with a low side driver, because when this thing turns off, all of these pins are going to float. All of them float. We disable the internal pull-ups on them, so they float. I have pinned a 100 ohm resistor to ground that turns off the FET, and so the FET no longer allows current to flow. This thing is in its uber low power mode, and the LEDs aren't powered up during that time, so that we can actually have the battery sit for like a month without getting charged, and it won't destroy itself. Some of these products that you buy, some of these battery-powered products that you buy have a sleep mode that should be very, very low milliamps and allow the thing to last for years without being powered on. Nintendo's particularly good at this. That is what's supposed to happen. Sometimes these products can be a little bit dubious and it'll discharge fully, and then your lithium ion will no longer take a charge. The battery protection stuff kicks in and permanently disconnects your battery. So devices can, if they're not particularly well designed, they can actually expire for not being charged. Pixel count, etc., etc. We've got the audio reactive user mod, ESP32AR build flags. I don't know what that's all about, but then we're adding all this stuff to it. This I don't know if I need, the user mod audio reactive. I added that to all of these. I'm gonna take it off for now and we'll see if it compiles. So we're just gonna comment out these lines. Even though some of them did suggest that I would use that, it may be that this variable will just be called. And then we have a list of the user mods. Where was that? Oh, I took that line out. Does it need to? So there's either a line here where I list the user mods, or let's open up the example for the overrides. I want to take a look at that. I want to take a look at the example. Override sample. Let's see. We can go into. Yeah, see, it's like user mod autosave. Use watchdog. User mod 4-line display. User mod rotary encoder. Okay, so it seems like we do actually need that on there. Dallas temperature, user mod multi-relay. I guess that's how we tell it the user mods that we want instead of having a list. Does this have a list of user mods? Set a release name that may be used to distinguish required binary for flash. Okay, we did that. Copy and paste each onto its own line and below build flags in the section. And then common build user flags. I'm just seeing if there's like put the number, wait, put the names of your own build environment here. You can define as many as you like for default environments. I see. So for this one specifically, we're calling it ESP32C3 dog color. And then I guess that first line is what's telling it what user mod to put in. And presumably we don't then need a list of, you know, this and this and this and this. Dude, son of a... No. I am playing this by ear, chat. I don't know what I'm doing. What are you guys saying over here? Engineering equals spreadsheet mastery. You should see the spreadsheets that the RF guys would make. I actually still have one of those spreadsheets because they are incredibly skillful at breaking down equations, like complicated RF equations, and pulling in all the variables that you need in order to do a pseudo distance calculation at different elevations, and then in you know, with tree lines and stuff like that. Pretty crazy, but it's all in Excel, and they're all basically like, calculate this coefficient and put it in this box, and then this box takes these two boxes and concatenates this. It was crazy. Where'd you pull this code base from? Assuming you didn't write it from scratch. Oh, no. I did not write this from scratch. We pulled this from the WLED project. WLED is a system for running these LED strips and screens and stuff and making them really sparkle. It really makes cool looking LED things. Are you actually using comments to remind you of what to do? No, in no way am I. No, I think the things that I'm learning today are wrong, and they were taught to me as a joke. There's no way. See, it doesn't highlight, I guess, because I'm not using an equal sign on there. I guess this is okay. It's just highlighting weird in the syntaxes. I guess the disables are doing the same thing. So, yeah, so that's the user mods there. So what do they do afterwards? That's pre-configured development boards and controllers. Okay, so there's nowhere that I need to list I2C and SPI. SRAM. I don't know. I think we did the right thing. I think we have it put together. I think we're good. Yeah, because these, I guess, will just compile as a list of dash Ds that get put together. Oh, thank God. Yeah, no. What I'm designing to do with the once we get this to load up, that'll mean that WLED instantly has all of my hardware information on it, and so I've got sort of a jumping point to go back to for us to rattle around in WLED's brain further, because we are again going to add like 1 or 2 lines of code that will hopefully put the microcontroller into a different sleep state until I hold down a button for 6 seconds. So we got to find the 6-second button code. I don't think I'll be able to program this as my own user mod, but we need to go into the deep sleep. Well, we don't need to go into deep sleep. We could go into the deep sleep user mod, but we need to figure out what the C3 has for its sleep modes. We need to initiate a sleep mode from the very first time the microcontroller powers up. And I don't think that can exist as a user mod. I'm not sure how that works. It would be nice if I could do the bother user mod and then not touch any of the other code, so that when they update things, I can go back to my user mod, but we can also just throw stuff in. I think you need to put it in mod only if it's not built in the mod you want. Huh? Yeah, like this is just base level changing of parameters, but I think these, like this is settings, but this is a user mod, and so I have to declare the user mod, because that's what I was looking for, is like, why are we putting this line in here when we saw they had another way to do this? Another way to do this is to have, after build flags, it would have like a user mod equals kind of thing, because that was the example that Short Lurker brought up yesterday. Do we still have that open somewhere? Yeah, this one. So with this one, okay, let's zoom way in. This one is doing build flags temperature equal, and then it has the build flag after it. So they've got all the same, it's similar. It's custom user mods equals audio reactive internal temperature multi-relay. So here's a list of the mods with no comma. And then it does build flags, disable features, and boom. I don't know, this might be older. Try looking in user mods list. Okay. User mods list. So if you guys don't know my stream, if we're actually able to get new viewers, which would be just monumental. Every single viewer I hold on to so tightly that sometimes like little bits of users come out of between my fingers. Hopefully we're finding new people by being in a different category. And if you're new to the stream, we're just kind of hanging out and working on the project. This is not a tutorial. Don't be the comment leaver. I feel bad for this person because I keep pulling up this comment. He's held on to me so tightly, I look like him. Sorry about all the bruises. This is like, so 4.5 hours. What a dog shit tutorial this is. This isn't a tutorial. This is a torture. If I was doing a tutorial, I would know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a feeling that instead of doing a list and all the equal signs, we do it like this, because this is very similar to what the actual INI example looks like. So I was instructed that I should open up Windows 32 and delete it. Open up, where was it? User mods list.c++. User mods list. Where is that? What are you talking about? Code of conduct. Platformio INI, readMD, requirements, change log, that would be in user mods, and then user mods list, platformio override user mods, and there's a readme. Oh, look at that, it's got for the different platforms. It's got different user mods, huh? Oh. Thanks, Twitch. This tutorial sucks. I'm gonna go shave my head and maybe start on the ginger beer. Yeah, I've got to look up how to brew like ginger ale and ginger beer. I think that would be a lot of fun. Man, I don't know I don't know where this thing is you're looking for. It seems like at some point I could actually put together, wait, it opened it within the, wait a minute. Oh no, it's its own thing. Okay. This is an untitled workstation. Yeah, let's close that if I can. How do I get this out of here? Trying to use right-click menus because I don't know what I'm doing. I am inept. I can't get rid of it. Oh, I guess because I pointed platformio to the folder where both of those existed. All right. So we did our minimal amount of editing, and supposedly all this stuff works. Maybe I need to figure out how in the heck I'm going to compile this thing so that I can load it onto the ESP32. What do I do now? I can check for errors. Quick ESP now, optional debug. Check my code. I don't know what this means. Platformio build. I've got a bell in the corner. Folder contains dev container configuration. Oh, this is the thing that I don't show again. There we go. Now I'll never know. Okay, so you forgot already? What did I forget? Select the board. So selecting the board over here in default WLED nightly, I have all of these, and somewhere in here in this massive list should be my ESP32 dev dog collar, but I don't know. Default node MCU ESP32. I don't know if it sees my oh, you know what? Because it doesn't have the right name. It's not called the right thing. I need to actually change this. I guess I'll have to do it in a save as. Share? No. I can reveal in the file explorer. We'll just make this the override now. I don't need two files. It's going to be like, oh my God, the file changed. Yeah, see, it's crossed it out. Oh, I hit Control S, didn't I? I'll save it again. I have no qualms. All right, let's see. So those are the user mods. Close that. We've got in here override.ini. That's got all our BS in it. Yeah, and all that stuff. We didn't really change anything in here. So build unflags, libdeps. We got all that stuff in there. That's all ready to go. Now what? Is it in here? This is choosing the board, but when I choose the board, it's going to choose what build it's going to do, and then we override the build with our thing, which is then it's overwriting some stuff that's already in there because I stole the ESP32 dev build block and I just put it all in there. So I guess this is taking it from the main file, and then our override is going to like undo a bunch of that stuff, right? Nothing better than hitting Control S than closing something out and having it ask you if you want to save. Yeah, there was a I forget what it was. It was a program that you'd hit Control S and it would just kind of humor you. I think Google products do that because it's updating every single time you type something into it, but you can still hit Control S. It doesn't yell at you for doing that. I like that because it's like, we shouldn't get punished for having that habit as engineers using software. My hand just hovers over top of Control S at all times. SolidWorks did that to me yesterday, yeah. SolidWorks still has to save. I wonder what their web interface is like, because I would potentially be using that web interface with Linux, and I think that's behind a paywall. I think that feature is behind a paywall. I would very much like to move my computer over to Linux so that I don't have to deal with all of this crap. Actually, I'd still have to deal with this kind of coding stuff, but... Try and press dog on keyboard. Dog. I don't think, no, it's not showing up in this list because it's an override. The stuff we put in is an override for the builds, so we can't select it in here. What we'll do is we'll select our board and we'll just do ESP. It actually doesn't matter which one we choose here because this will write over it. Our own little thing will make it ESP32C3. Sorry, it's loading it right now. It's going to load all this crap. That's why I think this is going down. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think the IDE is loading in our overrides. So we don't get it in this list. This list is from the INI. SolidWorks PDM decided my saves didn't matter on a Friday at 3. What? I'm using the cloud tools that AutoCAD has in Fusion, and that means that I don't even know where any of my files are. Before I upgraded my copy to the one that they pay for, I saved all of my stuff onto the file server just in case. I have a lot of stuff in my SolidWorks storage. The guy was the fellow with the creators program was like, holy shit, you have a lot of stuff here. Like, yeah, mainly because with the circuit board stuff, I'm pulling in a lot of 3D models that other people have made. Other people and companies make the 3D models for these parts, and they look really good. And you can pull them into the Fusion Eagle, or it's called Fusion Eagle still. You gotta get the names of these products right. They have very specific things that they want to call everything. In their branding, yeah, when I make a PCB, the hardest part about making the PCB, and I wish I could just ignore this, but I have to have a 3D model, like a good 3D model of every single part. Making circuit boards would be so much faster for me if I didn't have to do this, but I am vain, and I love pulling a fully realized 3D model into like a design, right? So I have to have those parts. That gets grueling because it can generate some parts for you and others you can find on like Thingiverse or on the actual company's website. They'll have the better 3D models. This thing, the reason I'm herky-jerky right now is because this is doing a lot of work. It's kind of pissed because I spent like 4 hours on a drawing that needs to be spent out, and I was kind of worried it didn't. Oh, you were worried it didn't all save. That's somebody sent this drawing to my boss. It's his problem. You renamed a JPEG to have a SolidWorks extension and sent it to your boss. I can't seem to get this file to open. I don't know what happened. It must have corrupted. Another Saturday. I didn't stream yesterday. My jaw was feeling put upon. It insisted upon itself. I just measure stuff vaguely and put it on the PCB prototype. I can't stand that. So the RC car project had that happen to it, where I built everything to the best of my SolidWorks modeling ability. Not this RC car, it was the previous version of this RC car. It was the like $60, what do you call it? I forget what the name of the, anyway, the 1/28th scale RC car. It has a different name for it, but I tried to model all the stuff on the RC car because I kept running into like chair legs and stuff and blowing up my little tiny RC car. This is my pandemic project. I had a lot of fun with it. The problem is all of the rudimentary measurements that I was taking, all of the sort of lackadaisical measuring and the slapdash putting together and the making a quick model and just getting it done, all just suddenly compounded upon itself, and all of my measurements were just brutally wrong at some point. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I took one look at the model, closed it, haven't opened it since. Just because it was just everything was wrong. Everything I tried to do was wrong and it didn't work out. It was incredible to see that happen, but also very frustrating. You know, you get one measurement that's a little bit off here and you do another one that's a little bit off there, and it just, yeah. I spent so much time diminishing injection molded parts. Oh, dimensioning. Why did that not? That's a word that just didn't. Dimensioning injection molded parts just to be told to leave out a bunch of dimensions. Oh, God. How lately were those calibrators calibrated? I bought a new pair of Mitutoyos. The old pair seized up on me for some reason. It was very weird. One day they just decided to no longer like work. So I bought new ones. So these are pretty good. I mean, I'm 0.02 millimeter off here. Yeah, I don't have any. Oh, I really just stabbed my camera. Did I put a scratch in the lens? Oh, geez. Do we see any scratches? Oh, the whole camera's frozen. Well, we don't really need the microscope today. I just punched my microscope out of existence. I mean, you buy the Mitutoyos because they can rattle around in a work bag. They can rattle around with the rest of your tools and they'll still be accurate. I think I punched the plastic and not the lens. I'm just looking for a scratch on the lens. I don't think I have one. Yeah, and then generally in 3D printing, I mean, you can get kind of crazy with the ultraviolet printer, but my PETG printer is not really the most dimensionally, it's not exactly weights and standards here, you know? Okay, so the project has been updated. So now we've got ESP32 dev. Can I click build now? How does platformio work? I don't know. I don't know the first thing about platformio. Build and upload, test and clean. So if I build, that's going to be its own thing and take a lot of time. User interface, I would very much like to make this a larger window. Why is it not coming up? Oh, I see. I just had to click out of that window. I guess it's putting everything together. Let's just see. There's so many actions when you open the alien menu. I tried platformio. I built it, made a hex file. I had to manually upload it using ESP tool. Probably a way to automate it. Yeah, I don't know. What? Unused variable len. Okay. That was an LX parser. Huh? Void serve JSON async web server request. JSON line 72 something. Unused variable len. Okay, we're gonna ignore that one. We don't need to know about that one. Unused variable. Nows. Now is actually now over 1,000. Did you guys know that? 1,000th of my now is nows. Treat all warnings as a critical error. Bother in VS Code. I'm not enjoying my time here in VS Code. I like my dinky little Arduino programming. I think it's a lot nicer than whatever the hell's going on here. And I've blown up all the text into old man size so that I'm a little easier on you guys. So when there's like a dialogue window that opens up in VS Code, it's like squished. It's like it has no room to exist. So I guess this is going to build it, and it's going to put like a hex file in there, and then I can choose upload from the upper right and try to put it into the microcontroller. I guess that's what platformio does. Platformio will then let me take that hex file and load it up onto stuff. I think also some of these platforms, maybe not this one, they allow you to what is it, push down a button on the thing and connect it to USB, and then it shows up as a drive, and you just put your hex file in that drive, and then it'll try to run it. What annoys me is I got my Pico Pis, the RP2040s, the Pico Pis. I bought these with USB micro on it instead of USB-C. It'd be nice if I could move over to USB-C, but I guess I've got like every single type of USB represented in the shop. USB-C is nice. Things just kind of plug in. What happened there? That's a variable. It's not in red, so I guess we're okay. Firmware.elf. Wait a minute. Firmware.elf. Nope. Close the... No, I don't want that dialogue. What do you... Ugh. Just wanted to move my window a little bit. What happened? Very little RAM. Very lot of flash. Success! Okay, so it took 3 minutes and put it together. I mean, we're not doing anything crazy, right? We downloaded the nightly build, and we made our own custom INI file, and we didn't initiate 10,000 errors with the INI file. What problems were there? Unused variables are the worst of our concerns. Okay, so now I want to upload. I guess what I'm going to do is plug this thing into USB. So push down the button. I don't have... Oh... In the battery user mod, I need to disable turn off at 10%. Wait a minute. We're not quite done yet. Because if I don't have that in there, what's going to happen is it'll go into a deep sleep. Oh, well, the microscope is not plugged in. If I don't put power onto these pins, this will go into a deep sleep. You didn't build the nightly project. Oh, yeah, you're right. 15.1. Well, we didn't even have our override in there. Okay, we're not supposed to be in 15.1. We're supposed to be in nightly. So, blah, 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 blah. Our own thing is not in here. Yeah, so we are just doing the ESP32. It actually, I don't think it matters which one I choose here, but I'm just going to do ESP32 dev. Or no, there's the ESP32C3, isn't there? Yeah, C3 dev. The project configuration process has encountered an error. Why? What did you do? Wait, you closed it. Why did you close the thing that I was opening? Now this is in red. Loading. Why is that loading? Can I refresh it? Maybe I should just close VS Code and start again. The notifications have the arrow button to expand it. Should show in problems. Oh, I have to open up that lower dialogue, right? Problems. There we go. See, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was worried about. Parsing error, D user mod battery. It did not like that. It didn't, oh, well, it might not have checked that yet. User mod underscore, oh, maybe it's not in caps. User mods, let's look up user mods. Yeah, capital B, lowercase addery. That's totally home row. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I definitely just typed battery. You can see there that it says bzz. Totally home row. Are you pulling your hair out yet? No, not quite. We're getting there. Does that mean that this has to be lowercase? But it didn't, on some of them, it didn't have that. Like here, let's open up the example or just the user mod override. Let's see. Oh, that's not the example. Sample. So for, yeah, this is all in caps. Dallas temperature. This is really getting low? Yeah. My zero. Oh, but then this one doesn't, audio reactive doesn't have it. User mod PWM fan does. POV. Why? What is this syntax? The syntax is confusing. Where's the battery example? Is there battery on here? IR setting, milliamp limit. PIR sensor, multi-relay, dataless, rotary, 4-line display, user mod, that thing, auto save, create debug, watchdog timer, NT time, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, limit max buses, pin defines, enable option, built-in features, and yeah, so they don't list it in this. We don't get a direct example. So we need to look at the user mod. User mods. I don't know what they're doing with that declaration at the beginning, though. I can search the file. I don't know how to use this IDE yet, okay? Okay, so battery's not in here. So then we go up here to battery and see if they have an example. Battery. Defaults, readme, and user mod battery.h. User mod battery measurement pin. Space or tab. No, that's just editing. If I click out of there and hit tab, it just adds a tab in the window. Control F is what I usually hit. Initial delay, measurement interval, default type, unknown, lipo, lion. So measurement is 3. Default type is 0, unknown. So user mod battery. I think type is what I'm really looking for, right? I don't think it's if def user battery default type, define user battery default min voltage. We're going to keep those at the default. Lipo min voltage. Okay, so we're going to do user mod battery default type is going to equal 1. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So that it knows it's a lipo and it sets all this other stuff at default. So that should be okay. He's hurting me. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, all right? Maybe this is a tolerance run for you. Maybe I'm doing it in order to torture you into auto off enabled false. Take that one over. Hey, somebody told me yesterday that there was no true and false and that this wouldn't be valid. Oh, you can't see it. It's behind the window. That right there, that one being enabled equal to true, but I wasn't able to type that. They're not using equals in here anyway. But I guess we are if-defing this stuff. All right, I don't think I need anything else to happen here. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, true and false are also 1 and 0. And if you're doing Arduino, it's also high and low. That's just what the IDE comes in and replaces with your 1s and 0s, because that's how microcontrollers are. So define user mod battery measurement pin. That's funny. Measurement pin 35. The ESP that I'm using does not have that, but I think we've already got, yeah, measurement pin is equal to 3 in our case. So this way it won't shut itself down automatically, but these are all in caps. So I guess this is all in caps too. But then I don't understand why some of them have you declaring user mod battery like this. Why would they have you do that? This goes to a more fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on here. Like this one just defines audio pin. It doesn't do duser mod audio reactive. Let's look at one of the ones that does have that so that I can see what the hell's going on here. I think, does that enable or disable it maybe? But that's not really that kind of an override. See, what's going on is that I'm confused, of course, obviously. Because, and maybe I just can't see the window right now. Hold on. Okay, I don't have it open. When I look at the override sample, and I scroll down, 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 and I scroll down. No, wait, we're back up. When I look at the examples that they're giving me, when they do a user mod, they will come in here and they will have the first line will be user mod 4-line display. So it'll have this in there for some reason. The dash Ds all have space, but your error didn't have one. For this, which one was it? It was battery that, oh yeah, these don't have spaces on them. Maybe they need, do they need a space there? That's just syntax. It's just making things clean. Maybe that's what does it. Maybe that was the error. But I definitely, like, we don't need to put audio reactive in there because audio reactive didn't have that in the example. Oh yeah, it needs to have several spaces in there. Perhaps even a tab. Yeah, these are all tabbed in. I don't know how to do the shortcut like in Arduino where you can just like add all the tabs. And I guess there's no end line, semicolon, so maybe this is all it's got. Maybe it needs it there. Oh, are they doing 3 spaces instead of a tab? Is that gonna kill it? Do I need to, okay, it's interpreting my tab as 3 spaces. Okay, good. Python has ruined me. In Python, all of this matters greatly, whether you use spaces or tabs, one or the other. So I'm just making sure. Are you sure? I'm making sure. But my other question is, what is this doing in some of these? So if I go to user mod, one of the ones where the example has that on there, let's find, sure, Dallas temperature, right? So let's look at the Dallas temperature user mod real quick. I just want to know what that thing is doing and where I need it. If you make it pretty, it'll work. Dallas. Can I get a Dallas in here? Are these in alphabetical? Deep sleep, DHT, Electrube. Is Dallas temperature not in here? Oh, great. Okay, let's find one that's actually in here. PIR sensor user mod. See, audio reactive doesn't have it. And actually this one's doing, oh, this one just goes straight into audio pin. It doesn't have all of the other stuff with it. I wonder if that's going to be a problem. This is so confusing. All right, let's look at PWM fan. LMNOP, PWM fan, and then library JSON, PWM fan, C++. Let's do the C++. If defined user mod Dallas temperature, include user mod temperature.h. So the ones where I'm not listing, so that's what so that's including the stuff that's needed to run the Dallas temperature semiconductor thing. So we got to look through these and figure out which ones of these do that and which ones don't. Okay, now I get it now. I get it now. So in our overrides, we need to first look at oh, I see. That's for FFT. Okay. Don't forget to add Arduino FFT to your libs depths. Huh? We did that. We did actually do that. That is in this file. So Audio Reactive doesn't need us to do that, although they could have done something with that. Anyway, let's the other ones we need to look for. We need to look at deep sleep, user mod deep sleep, and figure out what it's doing. So user mod deep sleep. I'm starting to understand it slowly. WLED, if def ESP8266, and if deep sleep wake up, blah 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 blah, RTC data bool. So we don't need to do anything with that. We don't need to declare it at the top. What are you doing in order to go to sleep? Config IDF target ESP32. If wake pin is equal to blah 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 blah. Huh. I have to understand this later. Visual Studio has good indexing. You can use the second icon with search and search the whole text. I don't want to search the whole text. Use a hammer for deep sleep. Well, we don't have that luxury. So we don't need it for deep sleep. This right here, don't need this. That'll just confuse it. It'll scare the software. Battery, let's look at battery. User mod battery. Battery. Where's you is? You're up with B. So battery in the C++ file. That just includes all the stuff. So it'll just load all that stuff in, huh? Class user mod battery. Yeah, so we don't have any if defs at the beginning of this. So we don't need to run that. How does it know that I'm using battery though? Wait, where do I put that in? Isn't there a place where I have to declare these user mods? I gotta close this file and I don't know how to get to it. There's no tab for it because it's run out of space to give me tabs because I blew the text all the way up. There we go. It's yeah, under the desk window there. Here, let's get the arm cam out of there so that you guys can actually see my infinite struggles with the user UI. But all the files are included in the project. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Because somewhere I need to tell it what user mods I'm putting in. Don't save. So we don't need to declare this for user mod battery. And I think that was everybody, because audio reactive, we already know we don't need it. Yeah, so that's everybody that we're putting in. Were there any other? I thought there were 4 that I was going to install. I think it was 4 with the accelerometer, and we're not using that right now. Google AI said there was a file, usermodlist.c++. It's probably not there. I need to make a file that declares what user mods I'm using. User mod list. I don't know where that is. So let's find it. Use the search. That's not the right search. If it does exist, maybe it's right. Does not exist. So, all right, the thing that I'm struggling with is with this override file. This is battery defaults. This is the override INI that I've got open right now. And so this is supposed to tell it all the different stuff that I want to, all the default settings that I've got for the user mods. Do I need to configure the build elsewhere in order to tell it what user mods I want? Because here it's just calling in settings. So let me just look at the documentation, because there might be something that I haven't included in here. Can I control click? Yeah, control click, and then it's going to open in okay, it did actually open in the current browser. That's nice. I hate it when it opens Explorer in order to open something like this. Platformio INI is a configuration file that lets you set up your development environment, share your code configurations, blah, 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 blah. INI style file that has sections. Okay. So this is just the basics on this. Yeah, not in there. So this is platformio overrides. So this is on top of that. If I go to the original INI, so in the default environments, am I adding the specific user mods? That's what I need to do next. Load user mods. Oh, custom user mods. And this is where I would load all of okay, so we're taking that and we're putting it in our override down here. And on top of that, we've got the build flags. And then, yeah, I did this already. Custom user mods there. Audio, reactive, deep sleep, and battery. Okay, that's how we're calling that. This is platformio. You don't find it there. That's WLED stuff. What do you mean? No, these are the different builds that we'd select in platformio. So these are the builds, and they dictate all the stuff that's going together, right? And so in there, I need to have a field that is custom user mods. And then that declares the list of user mods that's being put in. It looks like it's doing it below the build flags. I don't know if the order may not matter. I'm not sure. The stuff in the link, but the platform all of this has still been relevant. All of this has still been relevant because I read the thing that was on the web page. I'm starting to understand it a little better now. The platform INI file tells it how to build the entire project, right? And in there you have your different configurations that you can select in the menu. Then on top of that, there is the platformio override, which will override the settings, and that's what we've been editing. We've been editing that. It'll pull in all the build for the ESP32C3, and then anything that I haven't declared in this will be the default for the ESP32C3. Just in case we missed anything, I did in fact just copy the ESP32C3 platform INI build profile. So we are definitely overwriting everything that gets declared. But then on top of that, we're also setting these auto settings ahead of time which will not get, these are overwriting the settings that were, the default settings in there, so that I have everything enabled and disabled that I need to have so that my hardware doesn't eat itself and so that it puts itself together properly. But that causes a little bit of confusion because when we're choosing this thing down here, I need to choose the right thing that I've loaded up. So not WLED 0.15. And then we need to make sure it's nightly, but then I also need to make sure it's the one that I am overriding. So ESP32 C3 dev. ESP32 C3 dev right there. And we're already getting errors. Why did it highlight? Oh, that's not where the error is. Parsing line, D, user line, battery. Line 67. 3 spaces and a D. User mod battery auto off enabled equals 0 maybe? Because maybe it's not loading the right thing to understand what true and false. Or maybe I needed to do a capital F. I don't think that was... Because we saw in the battery user mod, they had the list of things that we had. Hold on, I got that somewhere around here. Hold on, user mods. User mods, battery. Battery.c++ has all of its includes. battery, types unknown battery. Class, user mod, private. Into 8. So it's not, may not be loading these things in properly. Or the scope of them might not be because like when we're loading these from like other stuff, what we'll do is, that's battery. If def. That's what it's doing. It's doing these if defs. Oh, if you don't save the file, it's still the old error. I thought it was a save and check button. All right, let's try Control S-ing and running it again then. Because yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. Build. This took 3 minutes before, so we're gonna have to wait a little while for it to actually pop up again. Oh, success. That only took 17 seconds. Did I have any one problem? Or is this the old error? Is this still the same error? User mod battery, auto off enabled. Oops. Back up to user mod. Battery. Where the hell? Okay, hold on. User mod A, B, battery. There it goes. Battery. Close this one. Nope, not battery keypad controller. Battery, and then this one, and then I guess. Did you save the INI file? I did click Control S before we ran it just now, although I don't know if this is persistent from the other one. Boy, a time on this would be nice. So that's still a problem. I didn't see anything pop up, but I guess we could just go through the log here and just see. Yeah, I don't know. It's something else. You broke it because the board now shows loading. What did I do? Not on this one, down here on this one. And ESP 32 C3, the dev. What I did, the project configuration has encountered an error. And it's due to, what the? No option platform packages in section ESP32C3. What? ESP32C3. Platform packages. Yeah, this is something new. No option platform packages in section ESP32C3. Platform, build on flags, build flags, G, Arduino Arch, etc., etc. Mandatory for ESP32C3. Please make sure that the following flags are properly set. 0 to 1. By your board.json. What is all this information? This sucks. This is everything I hate about microcontrollers coming to fruition here. Coming to roost. This is the stuff I really dislike about microcontrollers, because this is a nightly build, so there might be an error in it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't have any troubles with this from the auto-compiling tool, the online thing where you just select what the user mods are. But we're trying to get a little bit more advanced so that I could just sit here and throw code at it and it will just work. So I really don't want to be editing any of this stuff. So it's like, what did I do? What got wrong? And it says that there is no option platform packages in the section. Platform packages. So maybe this is just not supposed to be there. Why did it put it there? Control Z. Why did you do that? I clicked and it like didn't think I clicked. Platform packages here. Give it one of these little gabagools and maybe it won't throw out an error. Looks like it might be missing the file needed. Check the location of the .ini. The .in file, it seems like it's saved in the wrong spot. This is exactly where the override is supposed to be. And then I got the ESP32C3. Maybe I shouldn't be calling it. These are overrides, so I can call this what I want to, right? Default environments, ESP collar, ESP dog collar. And I'm doing this in the overrides. Maybe I should be doing this in the main thing. I don't know. The platformio override file should be located in the Explorer in the location it's showing. That's where it is, yeah. Platformio override.ini. It's just right here in the right next to the platformio ini. Yeah, I know. The hammer would certainly feel... I have an array of hammers that I could potentially use. So my understanding of what's going on is we are putting this thing in here. I don't know why this all is its own fancy names and stuff, because I can't exactly select it from the from this thing down here. I don't have the override file in here. Yeah, because it would come up in the list of the C3s. But the override file is exactly what we need to be editing. Might I suggest a ball peen? Sir, might I suggest a peen? Trying to load the platform packages from the ESP32C3, but there's no platform packages. But this is the fully unaltered code from the nightly build. So presumably what would be happening here is the compiler is coming over to this section and it's looking at what it's doing and it's like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff for me to look at. So ESP32C3 and it goes, okay, generic definitions, platform is equal to this, build unflags is equal to this. But then it looks at the overrides a little later on and it looks and it says when it gets to my override, it has platform underscore packages is equal to that. And it goes, wait, there's nothing for that. That's not in that section. It probably was in the previous, the 15.1 stuff up here. It probably had the platform underscore packages included in it. I don't know, do the others have that? Okay, so some of the other ones have that. But ours just doesn't. The ESP32C3 doesn't have that. So that's why I was throwing that error. So I think what I can do is save and continue on. It just doesn't have that overridden. I don't know why it wants me to save. I really shouldn't. I'm not altering anything in here. Okay, so I think that this just solves the problem. I don't know why. I don't know enough about this program to know what platform underscore packages does. So I think we're good. So if I go and wait, I got to save my overrides. So save the overrides, Control S, and it declared it in the other spot. It didn't declare it here in this file, which is a little strange. But again, I don't know what the hell it is, so I'm just gonna leave that out. I don't know what it is. I don't know enough to know. So I hit Control S, and then I guess I'm gonna try building it again. So ESP32C3. I mean that still says loading, but yeah, I think well, maybe I got to choose it again. This is sucks. I hate this. I knew today would be a slog. Okay, configuring project. %, but yet the dialog box is still open. So maybe it's not actually 100%, buddy. I am opening additional caffeine in order to get me through this. All this, so we have to spend an entire day doing this because I'm not used to platformio. Oh yeah, it's not the C3 dev. You're right. I chose the wrong one. Because I really don't know what I'm doing with platformio, and so eventually this will not be like pulling teeth, but this is kind of how it goes when you jump from Arduino. With Arduino, I probably would have been shoving code into the stupid thing already. ESP32C3 dev. There we go. Yeah. Get a cup of coffee while this thing figures itself out. All right, ESP32C3 dev, WLED nightly, platformio.override is saved. We've got all of our stuff in there. We've explored to see whether or not we need to declare certain things at the beginnings of these. Yeah, it's calling to the other thing for some. It's just, yeah, what it does. I mean, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't understand how ingrained platformio override is in platformio, but it seems like sometimes we get errors within that file, and sometimes we get the things where the calls are coming from, right? Like the other thing, the other INI file didn't have the thing that we wanted, that we thought we were going to override. It didn't exist, and so it said, "Oh, there's a problem in the original INI," and it pointed us over there. That's my theory of what happened. Correct me if I am wrong. I have no experience with this. I'm just also looking around for clues. Yeah, that's the best that I can put together with my headached brain. Line 18 in the original platform. I don't want to touch anything right now until this thing says that it loaded everything, because it's still loading, and I don't understand what's going on, and it's sort of this it's like the tome of a long dead wizard, and I don't want to accidentally activate any of its powerful spells. Because who knows? Like I'll touch something and then I'm a baby. Like, you know, and then I got to spend another 20 years growing up so that people will trust me again. I just don't want that to happen, you know? These are the things, these are the things, these are the places my mind is going while I'm. Oh, I see. So extra configs is equal to platformio override.ini. So it goes through all of the original file and then it calls our overrides in. Wah! I don't know what the heck that was. An unexpected error. Verify that you have the latest version of platformio. Try to find an answer in fact. Go fuck yourself should be one of the lines. Report this problem to developers. No. This is a big build, I guess. So yeah, if we looked at platformio.ini, Shorts is saying that line 18 is where it calls in our overrides. Extra configs is equal to platformio override. So then it automatically chooses whatever we put in there? No, it should be an extra config. So when it loads, what we were just getting it to try to load, wouldn't we be able to choose our override here? And it's like it doesn't have it. It's not in the list. I'm going to close this and open it again and see if it figures itself out better. That's what I think I need to do personally, is close myself and open it up again. Clear all my memory out. Okay. Platformio ini. This is doing its due diligence down here. I'm gonna burp. Why did my mute button not work? What's going on? Wait a minute. What's my computer doing? Oh, it's all its stuff. There's a dead container fit. Don't show me that. Already up to date. Am I muted? I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. My mute button is not showing that I am talking. Okay, mute works again. Why mute for burps when you can enable reverb and boost the volume instead? I've watched certain streamers that don't mute things like burps and coughs. And I don't just mean Rabaz. There's another person who burps full volume on camera, and I don't like that. I don't need to be able to map out your esophagus by only the cavernous sounds of your expulsion of carbon dioxide. I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay, we loaded up ESP32C3 dev WLED nightly. I'm curious if there is my overrides, if my ESP32, yeah, there it is. Environment, ESP32C3, dog collar, boom. So now, that's my build. Now I've finally loaded my own build. I don't know how to refresh that list, but it finally did. That's why I closed and opened everybody again. And it's on WLED Nightly, so that's everything that I wanted. Yeah, because while we were talking about it just now, I was thinking, you know what? These build the stuff out of platformio.ini is all of the stuff that I can select in that menu. I can't see any of the overrides, but why am I structuring this override with its own name and you know, and parameters on it? So it turns out I'm fully overriding the build, which is why it's good that I cut and paste the entire ESP32C3 dev over to this thing. So closing it and opening it allowed it to reload the platformio ini, and now it sees all of those modes with my override mode. Whew. And so it failed. Couldn't locate module in the user mods directory. User mods py line 26. Couldn't locate mod in user mods directory. Dog collar failed. One failed. Yeah, it's something. It's all I got. There's a lot going on here. You shouldn't worry about people's trust. You already brave enough with the title of the stream, especially in content of the last big drama. What do you think I'm manipulating that very scene? You should know how shallow I am. And it's not really getting us that many viewers. We also changed to just talking, where people probably just talk about that a lot. No, there's no bottom to this, to how low I'm willing to sink, aside from actually shocking my dog. Actually, the idea that I had in the wake of all that is, instead of putting a shock collar on the dog, I would wear the shock collar, and if my dog was too loud, I would get shocked. That would be hilarious. But I don't have that anymore. I threw it out. And again, like I've told you guys my opinion on the shock collar thing. I don't believe that it is cruel. The way that it was being used is cruel. Shock collars are to gain the attention of an animal that does not pay attention to you, typically when it gets on something. So if my dog is in mortal peril chasing a squirrel, which I know she will chase into a volcano if I allow it, if I yell really loud, I can sometimes stop her, but she does chase the squirrel, and it sometimes will go close to the road, right? If I had a shock collar in that instance, that is when I would use it, to get the animal's attention and really rip the animal's attention away from something that can be perilous to the animal. I believe that that is a perfectly fine use of a shock collar. The way that we saw it used, terrible, absolutely terrible and cruel, because the dog moved a little bit, and the owner preferred that the dog stay on that bed, and so they went over to reach for it, and the dog might have anticipated a shock or gotten one. I'm not sure. But that is not the scenario where you should be using that strict of an attention getting device. The vibrate function might have been used. I don't know. We don't know. But the part that breaks my heart is the owner's reaction to the movement, But that's sort of, those are my opinions. And I don't, I use positive reinforcement on Willow, and she listens to it very much, because she is a very smart dog and she learns stuff very quickly. So we are lucky in that. And I don't think I would go to using one. I have a buddy who, audio reactive can't be found. I have a buddy who used a shock collar on his dog, and I don't think he was, obviously used it for training specifically, and eventually the dog doesn't need it, right? He had a dog that would bark, 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 and he needed the dog to be quieter because they were living in an apartment. So the shock collar, over the course of like a week maybe, got to the point where he doesn't use it anymore. And if the dog is being particularly barky, he will take out the collar and just put it on the table, and the dog goes, all right, I get the message. Scroll up to the top console, it shows the error. Okay, let's take a look at that. Scroll up to the top of this. Or are we looking, filters up in the way. No, come back to me. Where did you go? How do I get you back? Please don't leave me at a time like this. Oh my God, what? Blah, 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 blah. So errors, okay. I'm still working with the UI here. When you scroll to the top of the console, it shows the top error. Do. Head. No. What the fuck is that? Now switching to the 3D. Show me nude tane. It's important work we do. You detached head state. You can look around, make experimental changes, and commit them, and discharge any commits. Blah 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 blah. Get switch C. Library manager ESP. So here it's doing stuff. Oh, let's just do this. There you go. Using existing myconfig runtime error, couldn't locate module audio reactive in user mods directory. Okay, so audio reactive in user mods. Oh yeah, it's not in here. Is it not? Oh, it's not. Okay, so audio reactive I put in that list, and I don't need to put it in the list. It's just a thing. Audio mod is built to the main code, or do I need to do I2C? Okay, wait. Above battery, audio reactive. Audio reactive. Audio reactive. It isn't here. File local. Couldn't locate module. Audio reactive in user mods directory. C uses platformio, penis library, site packages, platformio builder main.py. Get extra scripts. Why would it do this? Why would you do this to me? Control /. Ah, I see. Opens the terminal. I will not remember that. It's nothing personal. I will never remember that because I am not smart. So audio reactive, and then our platformio override. Let me get that file open here. Oh, that's this. Yeah, platformio override. Audio reactive. It might be running into this line and not. Yeah, line 17. Why would it run? Because that is what it's called. That's what the in user mods audio reactive, spelled it right, lowercase, user mods / audio reactive. You see the problem? Audio reactive, audio _ reactive. Is that what it needs to be? You don't put commas in the list. Oh, right. There were no commas. You're right. That's right. Because that confused me too. Like, why is it like that? Control S. Did you save? Just save it again. Save it like 3 times. And I was told F1 to reload. I'm gonna use a function key for that. Function F1, because we haven't finished the whatever it is. We have not finished the keyboard project because all the weird crap that's happening with tariffs. I don't know. I'm gonna order a keyboard and then be declared that it is I am illegally in the country because I ordered a circuit board. You know, it's like things are just happening that are weirder than the next day. So I haven't been doing any of my PCB projects. So we haven't worked on the keyboard project, and so I don't have my 10 keyless keyboard. I have the compact one. So I have to hit all these weird functions and stuff in order to get to the keys. Already up to date, updating metadata. I'm a burp. Oh, that was nasty. Does that mean I'm a good boy and everybody loves me, or does that mean that I've failed horribly and what's coming to me is deserved? All right, let's hit I guess build. Try to build it. The shrug that rocked the world. Stuff that I don't understand is happening, which I guess is good. Get your PogChamps ready. I don't. You'll never have to use a PogChamp in my channel because we never succeed. No, I think we might actually be getting somewhere. This might actually do it. Then things get crazy. Wow! It did not like whatever the fuck that was. Audio source, audio source, audio source. Warning, fix me. Huh. Wait, I'm not doing anything with audio source. This audio active user does not support the ESP32C2 and ESP32C3. What? What do you mean? We got it working perfectly. What are you talking about? It doesn't support the C3. What? It's a dependency with audio reactive. I mean, our audio stuff was working just fine for us. Yeah, you just need the crying salute. Shadow declaration is here. Okay, so there's all kinds of stuff going on here. They're warnings, though. Hopefully the warnings don't kick us out of anything. Yeah, we don't have to necessarily pay attention to the warnings. Although they're there for a reason, but still. Because, yeah, well, our microphone works perfectly fine, and we were able to choose it in the online configuration tool just fine. Audio reactive user mod is a bigger package than the baked-in audio reactive mode. Have we been using... I don't think we've been using the baked-in one, have we? No. Why would you not support the C3? It's racist. I have an error in PowerShell. Oh my god, 5 errors in the audio source. 1 error in user mods. Warnings, sorry. Lots of warnings. They're really trying to warn me. They should know that I can't read. And I therefore cannot be warned. I do probably need to take my doggy for a walk. She has not had her dinner yet either. I think we may end at Willa's dinner time. If I can get this thing to actually compile and like load it up. I understand much more about how this platform works. There's much to be desired though. There are quite a few things that I don't know about using the basic UI of this program. Very, very basic usage and where I should be clicking my mouse. I have to like double check every single one. Theoretically though, if this all compiles together, I'll be able to load it up onto the ESP32. I may need to use ESP32 tool or whatever. I may have to download that and get that operating in order to load up the code. Or I could use the Arduino IDE to do it, but VS Code Bother is the future. I don't think so. I hate this program. I would rather program in Notepad++. I would have understood all the stuff that was going on a lot better too, without all these bips and bobs and all these weird windows open all around. If I had a separate program like a putty running that I would do consoles with. I can't be here every day. You don't have to be here every day. I would have figured all this stuff out. It was very helpful though. But generally what happens is when I'm learning a new thing like Python, I sat down with chat and we started programming immediately the big Python project. And they were able to advise me as I went. There was a lot of hair that was being torn out. What are you running on this PC? It's a snail. What do you think all this is? All this I'm very low frame rate right now. What do you think all this is that you see right there? All these pixels. Where do you think they're coming from? Where do you think they're coming from? You thank this PC. It's working very hard. Oh my god, there go more warnings. What up, Baloo? How you doing? Just waking up. That means that you're Australia E, right? Oh yeah, you have AU in your The AU that was underscored at the end of the name. I'm trying to zoom in on myself to highlight how dumb I am, but I can't because the computer's so slow that I hit this. You saw me. There you go. You saw me hit the Stream Deck. I probably need to upgrade this PC. That probably needs to happen. The only way it's going to get cleaned out either is if I just throw a new PC. What is this? Oh, it finished. That's why it's blinking. So success. Took 327 seconds. We only have warnings. Hey, this is good. I guess it really didn't like audio source. Yeah, I really didn't like the ESP32 part of audio source. And yet I had it working just fine. That's the warning we got. Okay, so we finally got it to build after a little bit of struggle. A quick trip on the struggle bus. So in WLED Nightly, there would be, what was it? Where the hell does it put it? Build output. Firmware. ESP32C dogcollar.bin. Now, I don't know a thing or two about a thing or two. If I hit upload, well, we're not connected yet, so I need to push the button, push the program button down on the ESP, and then plug this thing into USB. And it's not going to get into its weird loopy mode. It'll just be blank. So here, let's bring in this guy. Right, so I pushed down the button, plugged in USB-C, nothing is happening. What I should see is a COM port, a virtual COM port should come alive. So if I hit upload here, what does it do? What are you doing here? What are you doing? NPM. Wait, where are you, what are you doing? Wait, come back. Is it, I didn't tell it. I didn't tell it a port. I didn't tell it what port. Oh, I see. It's just getting all the stuff it needs. Problems 11. Noise.cfcc, GIF decoder, audio source. These are all the things that were happening. Okay. So, all right. What am I looking for here? Yeah, it's still doing stuff. So that was successful. Ports. That's not what I want. Shock it. Okay, so we need shock it by sticking your finger in this plug over here. Oh, I see. So that's how you manually set it. It might have been set already. Well, let's see what happens here. So COM7, environment, dog collar nightly. That's the serial monitor, test, platformio, clean. So if I hit upload, is this now going to bring up? I may have already uploaded and I just needed to restart it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I think it already auto did it. Oh, well, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. This thing is a machine. We're smarter than it, but we can make it do repetitive tasks. So supposedly it auto found the ESP32C3 and uploaded it behind our backs. Well, no, when I click the upload thing, but now we're just making it do it all again. Just in case I accidentally reflashed a light bulb. Yeah, that was okay. So that's that dialogue of it writing it into memory space. Yeah, do it again, machine. I have opposable thumbs. You must follow my instructions. Okay, so now, if I hit, I'm going to do this the old school way. Boof. And then I bring it back to life. That is WLED running. The yellow LED indicates to me that it is in fact running. So the question is, well, it might be at a different IP address because I think it's I think it gets the same MAC address though, so it actually might be assigned to the same IP. Let's just check. Wait, what is 198? I don't think that's the right one. Let's see. I think it was 164 was what we were doing. What did it just type in? It just like overrid. 165. No. 4. Ah! Haha! It is 164. There it goes. And see, it's changing color. Hey, we've done it. Where's all my pallets? Oh no. I had tons and tons of pallets that came from the audio stuff, I thought. There were like 1,000 pallets in there and they're all gone now. Oh man. Oh, maybe just because solid it doesn't. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there they are. There they are. There they are. Okay, everything's good. So now I have in Platformio, I hate calling it that. I really wish they had a better name because it just really, whoa, that one's weird. In Platformio, I now have a build that I can just throw into this thing and it'll have all of my hardware specifications. So at this point, I could declare that I'm ready to put together hardware. This is sort of the feature complete breadboard setup is what I'm trying to achieve here before I go making a waterproof device. I want to run into all the problems that I'm going to run into putting this thing together. So it's platform I/O. Oh, do we call it by its full God-given name so that we put the fear of God into this thing when we call it when it's in trouble? Platform it out is its full name. Yeah, it's full government name, whatever's on the forums. So in order to use less current, we're going to have to go through these and make our own playlist, right? Pedometer mode shows daily steps progress bar. Oh, wait. That's cool. So it's kind of cool to be able to, like, all this stuff is working on this, supposedly. It just right off the bat. The only thing that I don't have yet are the macros. So if I push the button, nothing will happen over here because there's no preset macros. I have to build in a toggle macro and then I have to point the button action at the toggle macro in order to get that to work. Wireless sleep would be a good macro, but I can't press, or I can't push, I can't assign the 6-second press. That's a built-in mode. So we're gonna have to find that in the code. It would be nice if I could make that like a user mod 6-second press reassign, and then I could have a macro that would turn off Wi-Fi. Within, like, if I altered deep sleep, like the deep sleep macro, to include something that could be put into the macros, sorry, the deep sleep user mod, if I could put something in the macros that would initiate the different sleeps, I think that would be pretty cool. Kind of want to build a pedometer so you can detect pedophiles. What? Pedometer, it's a steps thing. Something ultra small that can run off a coin cell. That's getting into a lot of low power stuff. If you wanted to build a pedometer, that's like super, there's like 10,000 ways you could do that. Low power accelerometers and stuff like that are kind of cool to use. Or you can use the much more rudimentary method of pedometering, which is literally, I can't find it. It's somewhere in here. Here we go. A spring in a tube. That's all this is. It's a spring in a tube. So when this thing gets disturbed enough, the spring hits the side of the tube, and that'll set off your spring in a tube. Oh, I can't show that up close because the microscope is frozen. I bumped the microphone with a caliper. Ball bearings on a contact. I mean, if you go through like an X-ray machine, this will look like an antenna, but it's just a spring in a tube. It's not even adjustable. You can't adjust your spring in a tube because it's a spring in a tube. ball bearing, but then you've got a little like knocking noise that you have to deal with of the ball bearing knocking around. I mean, the other alternative is a mercury switch. I think I got a mercury switch in here. Yeah, there it is. It's right here. This is another alternative. It's a blob in a tube. You could just use a blob in a tube. Take apart an old thermostat. I actually don't know if you can still buy old thermostats that have mercury switches in them. Some of them also have really complicated mercury switches, but from the makers of, yeah. What was the other one that was, it was not, I'm not talking about the lazy whatever guys, a thing and a thing. It was like something that was stated like that, just so simply. I'm trying to remember what it was. If you want to do a teeny tiny pedometer, should we not describe something like that as teeny tiny? With lights, these are the lights that, oh, to use from Adafruit, huh? If you're making a pedometer, why you should also have like a pulse oximeter attached to it too. Make it a real complicated medical device. That'd be fun. We tried to hack a pulse oximeter that one time I went to the hospital. That one time in Band Clamp. The one time I went to the hospital, I came back with my own ball in a cup. Oh, look at this new invention. It's called ball in a cup. The one time I went to the hospital, came back with a pedometer. It basically had a like a COM port plug. That's still using that in this current year. And we tried to hook it up to something like an Arduino and do like the full pedometer experience with it and like measure my blood and stuff. It turns out they're a lot more complicated than we thought they were. Yeah, I can't show that on Twitch. So audio reactive works. All the palettes are there. I can change the color of this thing. There's a lot of extra light on the desk right now, so it doesn't quite show the way it should. I have to assign the scripts. I guess I can't pre-write some of the scripts and contain. I could actually override the settings for the switches. I'd have to find them though. I'd have to find where that is because it's in the config. It's easy to get to, but in user interface, or no, it's not user interface. Sorry, it's actually LED preferences. So all my preferences are in here with the GPIO assigned. It's just that, yeah, button 0, 2, push button, disable internal, touch threshold. I didn't know that exists. Wait, it should be push inverted actually. Right now, there's nothing to trigger it with. It's not set up, but that's a setting that I needed to put in there then. Push inverted. I don't know how to do that yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm allowing the dog to be Corsaired and have RGB all over it. No, I chose WLED very specifically because it's not RGB strictly. It has a bunch of extra user mods and color modes and palettes and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what the other overrides that I can do so that I can put all these settings in there. So I can upload and just have everything but the playlist that I've come up with in there. And then I would like to look into the button behavior in the nightly build. So we're probably gonna come back and do that because it's getting on. Yeah, we're a 3-hour stream on a Saturday. We got it working though, and I got it so that if I nuke this hardware by accident, I can now fully re-upload and have all my pinouts and stuff already declared. I probably could have done it by saving a settings file to like a backup, and I probably should have done that, but I'm going to need to rebuild some of the macros and things that control this and possibly figure out how to automate putting all of that in there so that when I upload, literally everything is in this, and all I need to do when I go to the next version is move my override INI over to the new thing. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, the Idealite still works. I still hope we get dog connected to an Ambilight. I would do it, but I don't have a dog. That's essentially, I mean, that is kind of what we're coming up with. There's one more thing that I want to program, and I need to figure out how that works, is if I can do in the API call, because here, LED settings saved. What you can do in these presets over here, the screen is covering them, so I'll move the browser window. The presets right here. If I add a preset, I can do a bunch of stuff with it, but this would be toggle, and I don't use the current state, I can put in an API command. And so t is equal to 3. Toggle mode 3. I think 3 is what I want. 2 might be what I want. Don't apply it at boot. Save to ID 255. Well, let's do 25. Yeah, 255 I think I can assign. So I save that. Oh, 250 or less. Okay, so 240. We'll just make it 230. So 240 is toggles equal to 3. Save. And then I've initiated the toggle by saving that preset. This is off. It's in deep sleep mode. There's no way to get it back. I just nuked the device because we don't have the button assigned. Oh no, the button is connected to the pin that we told it the button was connected to. So deep sleep is looking on the pin we told it to look for, and it came back to life. Whew. That was so in order to turn this thing off, we now need to point to 240 on the time and macros section. So button 0, long off on goes to 240. I want to put those settings in there automatically. I can't have a dog where I live. Follow-up comment, it sounds like you live in the wrong place. That sucks. Yeah, I really enjoy having a dog. I grew up as a little kid and I never had a dog, but I really love dogs. And we moved to the suburbs, we got a dog, but we got a dog that was a crazy person and way too aggressive. And so I never really had a dog until finally we got this dog, and she's perfect. She's a wonderful little goofy bastard. I don't know why I need to press it twice in order to turn it off. Like if I click and hold, it does this fade out thing. And then if I let go, it comes back. But if I click and hold a second time, it turns off. I could make double tap be turn off, but that's less intuitive. Long press to turn off feels like you're putting a pillow over its face. I could, but it would cause other humans to become more of a problem than they already are. Yeah, I mean, that's a big part about owning a dog is like, for the next decade, will I be able to take care of this thing properly? So there were we made a lot of decisions there, but I'm super glad that we did get the dog. Okay, short press. I need it to be another macro. So the next macro, I add a preset, and this one is next FX, and we're not using the current state, and we're not applying it at boot. And then this one's going to be FX equals tilde. Oops, escape. Nope, get out of this. I don't need the process manager. Tilde, I have to hit a combination of shift, function, and escape. There we go. Save that. Save to ID 1? No. ID is going to be 239. 239. So that's next FX. So now I need to go into the macros. Or rather oh, I turned it off. This has to be on for this. So that's going to fail. Yeah, so add a preset. Do that. 239. Call it next F. You guys can't see what I'm doing right now. Hold on. API command fx is equal to tilde. Damn it, did it again. fx is equal to shift function escape. There we go. 239, apply at boot. 239, don't apply at boot. Next FX, save. Okay, so that one's saved. Now I have that macro. Now if I go to config, I can go to time and macros, and I can put 239 on short press. So those are initial settings that I would like to be in there. There's a special place in hell for 65% keyboards. I wanted a mechanical keyboard, and space is at a kind of a premium on the workshop desk. I can do a 10 keyless here though, and it works much better, and I've got a little bit more room for my fingers. But yeah, I tried to keep it small here, and I've been programming for nigh on a decade with this keyboard. It is a little annoying, and especially when you need to use things like tilde or F keys, it's all up there under a function though. Okay, so we got our two macros in here, right? The two macros that dictate how this thing functions, at least initially. So now I can press this quickly and it'll supposedly scroll through. Okay, hold on. Oops. Supposedly, on push button 0, 239, 240. Oh, we're not doing analog button. Hold on. No. 239, 240. Back. Oh, it's probably my FX thing isn't working. Is it capital FX? Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. So now if I single press, it'll put me into the next mode. But that'll eventually become play the next playlist instead of put me into the next mode. And then I also need to figure out how I'm going to cycle the palette. There's probably a call for that where I can just put it into a new palette and it'll change colors. It's proper layout, including the most useful for, well, I don't know. I mean, this is an okay key. For the price I paid, it was great. They don't sell it anymore. This was wireless and battery powered. It doesn't do that anymore, and I don't know why. I don't know if this is going to become a spicy pillow situation with this thing. I tried to wake it up and get it to connect with Bluetooth because then all this stuff could be wireless, but it didn't really work all that well. And since I'm so far away, this thing is really slow because the computer's all the way, it's like way over there. Oh, do you have the same one? Yeah, there's newer versions of this, but they're like $75. So I just don't want to spend that money. I liked it when I bought it many years ago. But I do like my code 10 keyless. You got the 41. Ah. Yeah, this is super cheap when I bought it. I can't find it anymore though. So, okay, we made a little bit of progress. I have some configuration stuff that I need to figure out. I would like those settings that I just put in, those two macros and the way they're set up, would be nice if that could come from the INI file as well. I'm just gonna have to jump into the code and find if there's anywhere that I can set that with the override. I wanna keep it to the override file, because if I go into the main code and I mess with it, then if I upgrade to the latest version, I'm not going to have those edits and I'll like forget where they are. But I may need to go in there and do a little bit of deep level editing in order to put in my 6-second AP connect mode in order to turn the Wi-Fi back on for that mode. So I'm going to have to look into the ESP32C3 and see what kind of sleeps it has. How's it sleep? Everybody loves their Logitech hardware, and I know they make decent hardware. I just I'm not on the Logitech bandwagon. If I were to get a wireless mouse, I don't know if I would get this one. I probably would though, because it's actually a decent mouse. I'm not a big fan of middle click. I think that if they got rid of middle click and they had the same ergonomics to it and an off switch on the back, the 3D Connections mouse probably compete, although entry-level wireless gaming mouse probably does the same stuff too. This just it's got a nice feel. It's got a little weightiness to it. The puck continues to collect dust. Maybe we'll use it in one of our AutoCAD streams, but I hate a lot about Logitech, but I do like these keyboards. Yeah, okay, my brain isn't functioning the way a brain should probably function today, but we made significant progress. We actually got platformio to load code into our thingy, which is monumental. That's really cool. I'm going to try to expand on that a little bit. Maybe by the time we come back, I'll have a little bit more that I know about it. And then the next time we meet, we're going to try to put the Wi-Fi to sleep and see what kind of stuff we can do with it. If I don't start working on that ahead of time. Because like, how is deep sleep doing its thing? See, this is the problem is my stream now becomes me reading code, and I don't want to read code with you guys. You guys kind of stink a little bit, so I don't really want to read code with you guys around. Here, deep sleep. And then deep sleep is just like a basic framework. RTC data ATTR bool power up equals true. Variable in RTC data persists on reboot. Oh. Deep sleep user mod. UN8T wake up pin is equal to what you've set it to, etc., etc. Static constant character, name and evolve. So how are we initiating it? Pin is valid. These are the stuff that you can write into this. So init done is equal to true. Void loop if not enabled and not off mode. Disable LEDs are on. Last loop time is equal to 0. Sleep delay. Power up is equal to. Eesh. This all has to do with how the other stuff runs, right? Yeah, the software and game development. I probably could have put us in there for today. I didn't know exactly what we'd be working on. So pin is invalid. Wake up. Man, I gotta look into this. Yeah, this stuff is pretty heady code. Script set brightness. Huh. Needed to make handle IO not turn off LEDs. What? There's more going on here than I thought. Hull error. Deep sleep enabled GPIO wake up. Wow, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in this code. It's going to take me a little bit to figure out what's going on and how we would potentially initiate our own flavor of deep sleep. So I'm going to spare you guys from that. We're just going to end early. You guys can all go finally be free. You can finally leave the basement. I will take the doggy for a walk while we still got a little bit of sunlight left today. Other than that, hope y'all are getting out there, touching grass, being prolific, and get your head out of code for a little while, because that was a lot today, but we succeeded. We actually won the day in figuring out what the heck is going on with platformio. I found that it's a good tool. There's a lot of stuff going on though, and it's actually a lot more straightforward than we give it credit for. It's just when you first look at it, there's just a lot of stuff in your face. So I'll be back on Tuesday. Here's the end card. It's got all my social media information, except that my Blue Sky got hacked, so that's not valid anymore. Stupid. I wish it worked because I had a lot of followers there. I had like 300 something in like a week. Gonad actually has more followers on Blue Sky than I did because he got into that group a little earlier when all the hardware people moved over to Blue Sky. I don't have that anymore. That was an anvil that I had to strike while it was hot, and that is a cold anvil now. So I don't know how much traction I would get. But anyway, I'll be back on Tuesday. So you guys can find me in Discord. Until then, I have something in my eye. I'll catch y'all later. Oh, there's the burp, finally. Oh, who's online? Who's online? Google.com. Why did I hit TW? Usually that's Twitch. Weird. Firefox is getting to addresses that you've looked at already is strangely set up. I mean, Boom is working. I don't see no Gonad or anybody. All right. Well, anyway, you guys can figure out where to go from here. But you can't be here anymore. Gotta leave. Catch you on Tuesday.